who is Hiroshi Ishiguro?
Well, so I'm a professor of Osaka University and the visiting director of ATR HIROSHI ISHIGURO Laboratories. And I'm creator of a very human-like robot, but my purpose is to develop the interactive robots and to understand human itself by using that interactive robots. So this approach I'm calling the constructive approach. So my curiosity is what human is, and in order to understand the human itself, I'm creating a very human-like robot.
Where did you grow up, and how did your background influence your present, and perhaps it will influence your future?
Well, my curiosity was always what human is or what the myself is, right? So I'm very interested in the myself and the humans, right? And so actually, I didn't have a strong interest for the robotics and AIs, but I eventually studied the computer science and then, studied the artificial intelligence robotics. So this was a kind of a natural, the progress of a study for me. But important things was, to keep the basic curiosity about the humans. So, I think I'm going to continue this kind of things. So I just keep the same curiosities in my mind and continue the robot development and studying the human stuff, right? So in the future, so in the past and the future, I am doing the same things.
This kind of questions, they have been with you since you were a child.
Yeah, well, so in my memory, when I was elementary school student, fifth years, so that is probably the around 12, no? Maybe around the 11 or 10 or 11 years old, right? So, the adult people, they ask me to, okay, yeah, you should keep, thinking about the other person's mind, right? So this was a very, difficult request for me because I didn't know what mind is and what art is, right? And then another difficulty was I couldn't understand to think, right? So I don't know how to think. Do you know how to think, right?
Well, this is an impossible question.
Yeah. So actually, the adult people gave me impossible questions there, and after that, always I'm keeping thinking and keeping in my mind that impossible question.
Yes, that's very interesting. So now we move to the part that's called challenge. So I ask you a few questions, and you have to answer each question in less than a minute. Do we agree on that?
Okay.
Okay.
So how much is
each question less than a minute? So you have to answer a question in less than a minute.
Not one sentence, right? 1 minute.
No, not one sentence. 1 minute. If you could travel back in time, where would you like to go? Or who would you like to meet?
Oh, okay. Let me know if. What did you say? If what?
If you could travel back in time, where would you like to go, or who is the person that you would like to meet?
Oh, it's difficult. I never think about the previous things. Always, I'm thinking about the futures.
So you never think about the past?
No, past it's just over.
That's very interesting.
Past is not my life.
Okay. Among your robots, do you have a favorite one? I guess Erika, the superstar robot, is your favorite, but Gymnoids help you in teaching at Osaka University. The Telenoid looks friendly as well, and I think you like it, but which one is your favorite?
I don't have any preference to my robots. No, everything is the same because they are kind of research tools for me, and I do not have a special mind to my robots.
You don't have a favorite one.
No.
Okay, but you are. I think you are working on Erika to make it the most intelligent robot ever.
Yes, of course. So we are paying a lot of effort to the Erika, but Erika is Erika. It's also the research goals, and I do not have a special preference to the Erika. I like the all robots, but I don't, and I do not have the special one.
Who is in Japan or anywhere in the world the person you admire the most? So in other words, who is your hero?
I see. Well, maybe my teachers. I met the three important people. One is the my teachers when I was the PhD student in Osaka University, Professor Tsuji, and then the Professor Ishida. He was my boss in Kyoto University, and Alan Kay, gave me a very important message to me when he was in Kyoto University.
Okay. Are you happy being famous?
No idea, but well, I think I'm getting many merits, right? Well, it's easy to have many friends and to get the information, right? And it's easy to do something new, because the people knows me.
You are everywhere in social media. All these big news news channels, they are interested in your works. You travel a lot. You teach. You create robots. Where do you gather this energy from?
Well, this is a very normal thing for me, right? I'm doing just what I want to do, right? I don't think I'm spending a lot of energy, but I'm just naturally behaving, I guess.
If there is one thing you would like to change in this world, what it could be?
Wow. Probably we're gonna have next new world after the this information societies. I want to see what is that, right? That means I want to change this world by using the my robot technologies.
Is a human your favorite word, or is it a robot, or is it a humanoid robot, or is it a social robot?
There is no difference between the human and robots in the future. Okay, so we're gonna human accept more mechanical things and the technologies, and the robot is going to be more human-like. So I guess the boundary between human and robots is going to disappear.
Are you proud of your achievements so far?
No, not yet. This is well, I have to do the more things, and it is not enough, right? So, I'm not satisfied with that.
What makes you smile?
I'm from the Osaka city. Osaka is the city of comedies, and always so we need to make the people the happiest, and we need to speak the jokes, so that is rules of Osaka.
Okay. Do you want to live forever?
Eat?
Do you want to live forever?
Oh, no, I don't think so. But I'm not thinking about my death, right? So I guess that I'm still young, and I need to do so many things. It is not time to think about that.
I know that so many people admire your works. At the same time, there are few people who criticize your works because you are recreating humans in some way. Why is that?
Why I'm creating a very human-like robot?
No, why people are divided on your works? There are people who admire, but at the same time, people who criticize your works.
Oh, I see. Well, I think that is a good thing, right? So, people are always afraid of new things and new challenges. The people are afraid of some unknown things, right? So, and therefore, someone, and well, they worry about my activities, but many people, I think they like my activities. So I think that is a good signal as the new research.
Yes. What is your dream?
Dream is, to deliver my robots to the world and change the world, but with my robot technology. I think that is not dream. That is my mission. I think.
How do you spend your day?
Always, I'm doing this kind of things, and the writing some documents, and we're talking with my students. Right, always doing some research.
Okay, so now we move to the other section, which is questions from friends on social media. Okay. Isabella from Brazil asks you the following question. I would like to know if Professor Ishiguro think that the pandemic will weaken or strengthen our relationships with robots, since there have been many changes in our societies during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And if yes, will this mean coexistence with the robots? Will the humans coexist with the robots in the post-pandemic era?
Mm-hmm. So, the important thing is to keep our activities under these pandemic situations by using robot technologies. I'm running the Avatar project. Avatar project means, we are developing the teleoperated robots to support the human activities and under these pandemic situations. So I believe, after this pandemic, so we're gonna keep this kind of a lifestyle, right? So, and if we can remotely work, then of course we're gonna, we're gonna remotely work by using Zoom, teleconferencing systems and the avatars, right? Probably the avatar is more flexible, and obviously that this kind of a teleconference system has the limitations. But if we use the avatars, we can do the more things, right? So I believe the people will accept the avatars, the robot technology, and the computer graphics agent technology after this pandemic. So I think it's a chance to accept the new technologies and change this world to the more sustainable world.
Yes, I just want to remind you that we don't have that. You can take your time by answering the question, because the 1 minute sorry. Question is over. So you just take your time while answering the questions. Okay. So now another question from Sarah from Finland. Mm-hmm. Sarah is asking the following question. I would like to know how people react to your robots. Are they afraid of them? And if some has ever mistaken them with the humans? So,
no, okay.
Yeah, if you got my question.
Actually, so when the people, they watch the TVs and they read the magazines, right? People may have a kind of a negative opinion like that, right? But once they come to my lab and interact with the robot, so almost all people, they completely change their mind, right? So they can accept the robots because it's quite interactive, and basically it's easy to distinguish which is which. I mean, it is a robot, but we can accept the conversation with the robots. So that is a very different experience. I mean, through the TVs and through the magazines, people may have some misunderstanding, but once they interact with the real robots, I think many people they will change their mind.
Okay, so Anna Sophie from Canada is asking the following question. As a robot creator, do you think that someday self-learning robots will be able to have emotions of their own?
Emotion, I think that is not so difficult to implement. Okay, so but we don't know what is the real emotional mechanism of humans, but we can give some emotional expression function to the robots, and in order to have the emotions, I think a robot does not need to have a function of a self-running, right? So we can just simply mimic the human-like emotions with the robots. So I think that is a possibility, right? So the robot can have the function of emotional facial expressions and the gesture expressions, and the robot can emotionally talk with humans, peoples. Okay, so but of course we don't know the exact the mechanism of human emotions. It is still open questions.
Yes. Sami from Azerbaijan is asking the following question. Robots can identify objects like cats, black and white cats, but will they assign some more meaning to these objects? Let's say black cat is a bad cat. Black cat is crying cat.
Right. So how can the robot have the deeper understanding about the animals and objects? That is a very difficult the challenge, I think. The current deep learning and AI technologies, just doing some simple classifications, and the robot or the AI, they cannot have a deeper concept of the object and the animals, right? So we don't know how we can do that, but well, I think this is a kind of step-by-step approach in near futures. So if a robot has their own sensations and own bodies, robot may have experience in a real world, and then robot may find the deeper meanings to the cat and the animals and objects. So that is a possibility. But in order to do that, AI need to have a body properties. AI need to have a body like a robot.
Yes. Jesus from Spain is asking the following question. If someone destroys a robot, would we think or wish that this robot is protected by its right to property or the android's right to property?
I see. I think it depends on the the societies, right? So always the human rights given by a human societies, right? So if we can have a good relationships with the robots, so definitely we want to give a human right to the robot and the android, right? So my answer is it depends on the relationships between a human and android, right? So but right now we unfortunately we do not have a human level the android and the robots yet, so we need to improve the robots and more, right? So robot cannot establish the human-like relationships with the humans. Okay? But futures, I think there is a possibility that we accept the human-like robots and android as our friend, and then the people may give a human right to the robots or android.
Yeah, because nowadays we are talking about robots' rights. And David Gunkel, I think you know him, I interviewed him for my PhD dissertation. And I think you met him in Denmark. We mentioned you in our discussion. I mean, he is one of these prominent scholars that are bringing this discussion whether robots deserve rights or not. So I think this is very interesting debate. I think it's very heated debate, and people are divided on this issue as well.
Yeah, but I think it depends on the level of intelligence of robots and the relationships with humans.
Yes. I don't know if it's also in Asia or in Japan, but I know that in the US and here in Europe as well. I mean, this topic is very much like it's a serious topic, and people really have strong opinions on this issue. Whether at some point in the future, when a robot has a consciousness and becomes aware of the environment and moves autonomously, whether it deserves a right that in a sense that this robot cannot be harmed, or if this robot harms another person or another robot, that it deserves punishment. One of the serious questions that is surrounding robots nowadays.
Okay. Well, if we can develop that kind of a robot, I think that is going to be a great achievement in robotics and AI, right? Yes. So one of the big mysteries of what consciousness is, right? Yes, so we want to understand what consciousness is,
yes,
right? But I think I understand that kind of discussions, but we are not so stupid, right? So we're gonna install a kind of a security function to the robot. If we want to stop the robot, we can press a button to stop it, right?
Yes.
So that is the difference between robot and human, right?
Yes.
So we are designing robots. Okay, we are controlling a robot. Therefore, if a robot is doing a bad thing, of course, definitely we want to stop the robot, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
But if robot, if we install the very, very clever function to the robot, so robots may not like to have that kind of a switch and the button to be stopped,
yes.
right? Then we're gonna have a more difficult situations, but at the moment probably we accept the robot as a humans. Okay, there is no difference between humans and the robot in such a moment, because the robot is so clever, so autonomous, right? So we need to seriously think about the definition of a humans at the moment. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Now, the following question is from Victoria from Mexico. Victoria is asking the following question. Do you think that robots with a human-like appearance may affect how we relate with each other as humans?
Of course, why not? We have many brain functions to recognize human-like appearance, movement, and gestures, and the voice, right? So our brain is tuned for recognizing human-like appearance. Therefore, it's better to give a human-like appearance to the android. But that this is for the short the interactions. Okay, so if we do not have a long time, suppose we have just 1 minute to talk with the robot, right? So if a robot doesn't have a human-like appearance, it is difficult to understand how to establish the communications, right? But if a robot has a very human-like appearance, it's easy, because we can use the knowledge about the humans and therefore having the conversations. Okay. If we have a much time, like 1 hour and 1 day and 1 week, right, we can accept the more robots like robots. The robot doesn't need to have a human-like appearance, for the long interaction.
Yes, yes. Alfonso from Italy asks the following question: what Japanese people think about or expect from robots?
Or expect. What do you mean?
Yeah, what Japanese people think or expect from robots.
Okay.
So how Japanese people see robots?
I think probably that we do not have so much difference between the Japanese people and the foreign people, right? Basically we have very similar ideas, but the education is different. I think we do not. Education means maybe the religions. Our religions accept any kind of creatures and other friends. Right? Therefore, we can easily accept the robots as our social partners, right? So, but in Christianism, I think you may distinguish robot and others, right? So I think the difference is is just that kind of religious ideas. Okay, and but basically, the children's behavior, the reaction to the robot is identical,
Yes.
right? I don't see any difference, right? So, and children loves the robot very much in Japan, in other countries. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the difference is just education, I think.
Okay. Yes. And now I just finished the questions from my friends. I move to another section, which is research goals.
Okay.
You say in one of the interviews that you are interested in fundamental questions, the ones you just mentioned at the beginning of this interview, and that's understanding what is a human. So my question would be, why do you want to understand this human? And as humans, we are very different. People from Africa are different from people from Latin America, and people in China are different from people in the US. So why do you want to understand the humans, and what is a human in your mind?
Okay, so the human is to think about the human. I mean, why we have this kind of a big brain, because we want to know the external world, and including the ourselves, right? And of course, we need to survive in this world, but we have enough technology to survive, and our situation is getting much better and better, right? Then and you must but still we want to do something, we want to keep some activities. So what is the goal of our activities? So that is to understand what human is. So yes. I think basically everybody is sharing the fundamental questions. So for example, this interviews, you are interested in a human, therefore you are interviewing me, right? And for the business is to provide the services to the humans. Therefore, the business people, they really understand what human is, right? The requests from the humans. Okay, everybody is interested in the humans. So, and that is the humans. I think the human, we have a big brains. These big brains try to understand everything, including ourselves, right? And always thinking about the humans. So, yes. I don't know the definition of the humans, but if I define the humans, I will define like this. Human is always thinking about the humans. Therefore, we can be a human.
Yes. When we had the interview a few months ago, you mentioned that you were working on Erica to make it more intelligent. So has been so far any progress in the development of
we did
other robots?
One of the important goals is to make the robot pass the multimodal Turing test. Multimodal Turing test is a comparison between the teleoperated robots by humans and the robots controlled by computers. So if we cannot distinguish which is which, right? So that means the robot can pass the multimodal Turing test. It is not total Turing test. So total Turing test, it's almost impossible to pass it, because even if we carefully develop the very, very human-like robot, it's easy to see the difference between real humans and robots. Yes. Right? Because we cannot use the same material, right? We are using a different material. Right. But anyway, the multimodal Turing test is our goal, right? And we have tested the performance of Erica by inviting the 10 people, right? And the three of the 10 people, they said, "Oh, this robot is teleoperated by human." Okay. I don't believe this is the computer-controlled robot. Someone is operating the Erica. So the three of them say that. So that means that Erica could pass the multimodal Turing test for the 3 people.
Yes.
Or 10 people, right?
Yes. In a joint project with the Zen Temple, you created Mindar. Do I pronounce the name correctly?
Mindar.
The priest, Mindar. So what is the story behind this
Okay.
Robot priest.
Yeah, this was well, a real collaboration with temple, and in Buddhism, okay, and they have the very interesting questions. In the beginning of Buddhism, there was nothing about the statues of a Buddha. Okay, it was a kind of a right. What was just a sentence. The sentence is teaching the Buddhism, right? Teaching
Yes.
Buddhism, and then someone draw the Buddha's pictures on the wall, right? And then someone and they made the relief, right? Relief is a kind, the 3D pictures, right? And then someone they made the statues.
Yes.
Okay? But now today's we have robot technologies. Why we don't move the statues by using robot technologies? So this is a new challenge that they were interested in, and they wanted to have a new challenge, right? Therefore, making the new types of more active Buddha statues, right? And and of course, I agreed with that. I thought that is my role, and in my side, I was very interested in a very special atmosphere of Buddhism, right? So Buddhism is a kind of the world of imaginations,
Yes.
right? And the Buddha's the Buddha statues is the people is communicating with the Buddha statue. In an imaginary world, it's a virtual world. So my question was, what is the virtual reality? So the virtual reality is to mixing up the virtual stuff and the real stuff, right? Therefore, I was interested in building the Mindar, the Android. Mindar Android is it's a canon Android. It is not the Buddha, second persons in the Buddhism. Okay. Anyway, so it's a it's a kind of a Buddha, the Buddha statues, right?
Yes.
And we have they combine that Android with projection mapping real people, right? So that the Android, the Buddha is talking with the people in the virtual realities, in the projection mapping. So that is the it's a kind of a new types of virtual realities. The virtual human is talking with the real Android, right? So we are mixing up virtual things and real things, right? In a new ways, and I think it was quite effective. So it was quite interesting challenge. So we could change the history of Buddhism, and we could develop the new types of virtual reality system.
Yes. And at practical level, how does it work? Like, where is it now, and do you need to check it, or how?
Yeah, and before the coronavirus, many people come to see that, right? And
Yes.
there is some the small. It is not so small. The rooms for the maybe 30 or the 50 people. The 50 people can see the Minder. Minder is the Android, and the mind is talking about the Buddhism, and the talking with the projection mapping humans, and explaining about the important lessons in Buddhism, right? So it is quite impressive experience. But now we have a coronavirus situations. The people cannot they come to the temple.
Yes.
Therefore, we are not doing anything. But after the coronavirus, this is the pandemic situation. Of course, that temple they will accept the visitors.
Yes. Do you have to repair it? Do you have to check it often, or how does?
Not so much. Maybe every 6 months.
Okay.
Every month, the company is giving a maintenance to the
Yes.
Android.
Okay, that's interesting because I saw some videos about it and it was very interesting to see how things are changing and replacing priests. How much of your time do you spend studying robotics or studying robots or artificial intelligence?
What do you mean? Every day?
How much of your academic time? Yes, like is it entire your academic time, or do you have other things to?
I did so many things, and but in academia, the robotics are very wide. That include the cognitive science, neuroscience, and mechanics, everything, right? So
Yes.
And well, how can I say that? Always I'm working for the robots, but I'm doing so many things.
Do you think robots might impact people negatively in some way or another?
Why? Well, robot is a technology. Always technology is supporting our life, and without the technology, the human cannot survive. So, and of course, technology has some negative aspect, but so we cannot stop to use the technology, even if it is a nuclear technology, right? So, in order to generate the energy, so we need to have nuclear technologies. But in the near future, we may replace with the more natural energies, but at least today, so we cannot throw it away. And so anyway, what I want to say is robot is a technology. Technology has the positive aspect and negative aspect, but we need to keep using it.
Yes. There are some technologists who claim that robots which look like children, they might help to treat pedophiles.
Pedophile?
Yeah, people who abuse children. So some technologists claim that one of them is called Ronald Arkin from the Georgia Institute of Technology, who claims that robots which look like children or child robots, they can be used to treat these people. What do you think? What's your reflection on this?
I see. I think that is a possibility, right? But I don't like to see that. No.
Okay. Yes.
Well, but that is that is a possibility. Yes, and if but it's quite important to carefully think about how to use that robot.
Yes.
Right. So, and if they punish the robot, they hit the robot. We don't like, the people don't like to see that kind of things. Right.
Yes. Yes.
So we need to have rules to use the robot.
Yes. Right. Do you deal with any types of the so-called sex robots?
Same things, right? So it depends on the relationships with the robot. It depends on the personal relationships with the robot. Okay, so of course, that some people may want to have that kind of things with the robots, but I think we need to have some rules.
Yes.
In such use case, right? And so we need to be careful about that, right? So otherwise, the people may have some misunderstanding about the robot technologies, and they may use the robot technologies in a bad way, right? Yes. So it's a role of a society. And societies need to control need to carefully think about how to use a robot for such kind of a purpose, right? So then that we have a better moral society. So that is very important. So ethical issue is very important for us.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a quite a fundamental things for the humans, right? And So we have that kind of a service given by humans, right?
Yes.
And before talking about that, we need to carefully in the thinking about that, you know, the sexual services given by humans, and then that we can think about how we can use a robot for that kind of things. And the one of the positive use of sex robot is for the handicapped people. Handicapped people need to have that kind of help
Yes.
by with the robots, right? So and I think it depends on the users, and it depends on the individual person, right? Right? So we can it's quite personal things, but anyway, so the that is a very important ethical topics. I mean,
What do you
but
think?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah,
Sorry.
but
Tell me.
yeah, but the the ethical issue is important for our society, especially how to use that kind of robot.
Yes. What do you think about the news which says these people who are getting married with the androids, with robots?
Well,
I read it somewhere that people went to church to have a marriage, like a
yeah,
ceremony with
yeah.
robots.
um, well, that is the um, not so many people are doing that, right? So just one or two people, I guess, right? And but that is also the human right, right? So
Yes.
that is his choice, I think. That we have so many different people, in this in this world, in this society, and if he want to do that, of course, he has a right to do that. And
Do you think this might be a trend?
not so big, but if he cannot have relationships with the humans, and he prefer to have the robot partners, of course, he can have that, right? So I think it is not going to be a trend, but the a group of people will do the same things.
Yes. Where are the robots today? Where are they used? And do you see a future for robots? Do you see more people will be using robots, or do you see robots becoming more integrated in our societies? Robots, I mean, different types of robots, but of course, humanoid ones are the kind of the most interesting ones.
Well, we want to use more robots, and yet definitely yes, right? So now people using the vacuum cleaner robots, and but in addition to that, we're gonna use more avatars, right? And some of them is going to be quite autonomous.
Yes.
And definitely, we gonna, and especially in Japan, so our population is going down to the half of our current populations. Without the support by robots, we cannot keep this societies. We cannot keep the quality of life in Japan. Right? Therefore, I think definitely we wanna use more robots,
Yes.
many kind of robots.
How many copies of your robots are now deployed in different places?
I have three copies.
3 copies of
And
which one?
Geminoid 2, HI2, Geminoid 4 and 5. And mainly I'm using Geminoid 5, and
Yes.
yeah, but the Gemini 2 and 4 is getting old, and we cannot use anymore. Right? We need to replace the many parts, but it's better to have a new one.
Yes. And how about Erika and the others?
Well, still Erika is quite active, and
Do you have only 1 copy, or?
no. We have 3 copies from the beginning, and then we probably 4 5 copies.